Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode with iTrack. Shout out to the iTrack fam that is just tapped in, man. Hey, shout out to everybody in the chat. Per usual, I have a handful of interesting and creepy clips, man. The world is changing around us, and I got a handful of clips to show us exactly how. Before we get into it though, make sure to smash that like button for me, smash that subscribe button if you're not already part of the iTrack fam, and let's go ahead and get right into it.
President Donald Trump successfully ran a CIA covert operation to capture Nicolas Maduro, the illegitimate dictator of Venezuela. The whole world is talking about this operation and people are shocked, but I want to give you 3 important insights about this operation that most people don't understand about CIA and Donald Trump's vision for the future of Venezuela. The first thing to understand is that without a doubt, this operation is going to be contested as potentially illegal. What we saw here was something called an extraordinary rendition, something we haven't seen since the global war on terror, when U.S. military forces were recruited by CIA in order to go out and capture terrorists and bring them back to the United States for trial. That's exactly what you saw happen with Nicolas Maduro. You saw the CIA use military forces to go into a sovereign country to capture not just any terrorist, but their actual sitting president. Even though Nicolas Maduro was not seen as the legal president of Venezuela by the United States or many other countries in the world, he was the de facto leader in that country because of the fact that he had been a sitting president for so long, and he was hand-selected for the role by the previous dictator Hugo Chavez.
Now, this has been the #1 topic trending around the whole globe for many reasons, but I think it's pretty important to grab all the information so we know exactly what angle we should be looking at this from. Now let's go ahead and check out what the rest of the world is thinking about this, and especially the leaders.
Reacted to the U.S. capture of Venezuela's president in this surprising way that Trump had not anticipated. Shortly after news broke of the strike on Venezuela and the capture of President Nicolas Maduro, world leaders began reacting mostly in the way that the U.S. had expected, with allies of America, including Britain and the European Union, largely backing Trump while voicing a few concerns on the legality of the strike. Meanwhile, adversaries of the US also responded as anticipated, with Iran and Russia strongly condemning the strike and demanding for the immediate release of Maduro and his wife, arguing that the entire operation violated international law. However, China was the surprising one because at first they didn't issue any statement at all for hours after the strike. Then it was only until after Trump confirmed that the US would be taking over Venezuela's oil industry and assured China of continued oil exports that the Chinese Foreign Ministry finally issued a strongly worded statement that on the surface condemned the violence but did not call for any further repercussions such as sanctions against the US.
Welcome to 2026, where even country concerts have gone demonic. This is the Zac Brown Band. Before this concert, I had honestly never even heard of them, and yet they recently performed at the Sphere in Las Vegas. But every single person who attended that concert said it felt like they were literally being dragged through the gates of hell. I don't know if this kind of show has become the norm now just to go mainstream, but you're about to see something is seriously off. The concert starts immediately with a young boy inside a red door, lying in his bed. I don't know who that's supposed to represent, but it already feels wrong. Then they take you through a jungle or forest with portals everywhere. After that, we see the boy again in front of the red door, except this time, the door is on fire, and anyone watching that would agree it looks a lot like the gates of hell. But the worst part comes right after, because everything turns dark. You suddenly see this massive, creepy skeleton surrounded by flames, and on top of that, it's wearing a crown. At the exact same moment, you notice the lead singer is wearing the same crown, and that's where it gets really strange. Throughout the entire concert, there was an insane amount of symbolism, and honestly, I don't think that's normal. Now you tell me, do you think it's normal for music groups to put on shows like this without any warning? Because we're seeing more and more of it, and it's not normal that this is being treated like something harmless.
Now, if you notice in the very beginning of the clip, he admitted he had never heard of this band. I think this will be very common because if artists know that this is all the imagery they need to put up in order to go viral or to get some kind of mind share on social media, everybody's going to be doing it, guaranteed. And it won't even matter if the music's garbage or not.
Ever released the iPhone 9, Microsoft skipped Windows 9, and PlayStation won't create PS9. Why do tech companies always skip the number 9?
9 is, like I said, the first reincarnation. 9s have a lot of issues in this world. the biggest drug addicts are nines. I remember about 15 years ago, I just used to, I never did drugs in my life. You know, I only smoke weed, so no one's going to accuse me of anything. I don't even drink alcohol, haram. But when it comes down to drug addicts, I used to go to rehab clinics and just ask people their birthdays. 50% of the time, the 9th, the 18th, the 27th. Jordan Peterson had a drug problem. He's a 9 life path. Cavicular's out here telling people he does meth. Another 9 life path doing drugs. So 9 is the lowest frequency, and I believe that's one of the reasons they don't want to use that.
Someone just sued McDonald's claiming that the McRib doesn't actually have rib meat in it. A group of 4 guys filed the lawsuit, essentially claiming false advertising. They say it's actually made with ground pork shoulder and are just molded and shaped to look like ribs. This leads customers to assume that the McRib is made with actual rib. The McRib was first introduced in 1981, and recently in November they brought it back for a limited time. McDonald's responded that the McRib is 100% boneless pork and that the lawsuit distorts the facts. The official McDonald's website says it's made with seasoned boneless pork. If certified, anyone who bought a McRib in the last 4 years may also be able to join in on the lawsuit. All of this reminds me of the woman who sued McDonald's for receiving a coffee that was too hot and won almost $3 million. Personally, I haven't been this upset since I found out the Grimace Shake doesn't actually have any grimace in it.
Yep.
Now, let me tell you, if you thought that those McRibs were made of actual ribs, you got bigger problems.
Models would give tapeworms to their clients to keep people thin.
Well, that's what
so weird.
Victorian age. That's how they got so skinny. That's how they got their...
Really?
Yeah, they would eat tapeworms.
Weird.
And
What?
then they would do milk baths to remove the tapeworms because once you submerge
bath?
your anus in milk,
Come on.
I'm doing this.
the tapeworm
I'm
comes
doing
out.
it.
Come on. That's
I'm
it.
serious.
You're kidding me.
I am dead serious.
So this is the way I can test. I can just
Oh my-
sit myself in a little
Yeah.
Matt, what are you doing over there?
bucket of milk, and it'll just come out.
Yeah,
Why?
so the head will detach itself and it'll come down your intestinal tract and it'll come out to get the sugar out of the milk.
Which I don't make sure.
Documentary. Mark Zuckerberg makes $3 billion a year off fraud
For sure. Damn.
because Facebook have those scam ads running every day of the year.
I've seen those.
Yeah.
And
This Israeli billionaire just proposed removing our First Amendment rights.
I know it's difficult to hear, but it's time to limit the First Amendment in order to protect it, and quickly before it's too late.
What do you mean?
I mean that we need to control the platforms, all the social platforms. We need to stack rank the authenticity of every person that expresses themselves online and take control over what they are saying based on that ranking.
The government.
The government should
control the social media.
Now, many of you probably think this is insane and would never happen, but I hate to inform you, it's already happening. In case you didn't know, we all quietly lost our right to criticize the state of Israel. Yesterday, Mamdani was sworn in as mayor of New York City, and his first order of business was repealing this law, which was unconstitutional to begin with. Moments later, the state of Israel, a foreign government, mind you, started attacking him as anti-Semitic. Unfortunately, for those of you on TikTok, Larry Ellison is about to take over. He's the owner of CBS, which last week censored the entire 60-minute segment on CCOT, and in a few weeks, he'll be tasked with retraining the entire TikTok algorithm, censoring anything that he doesn't want you to see. I'm on a mission to push back. I'm the founder of Interval News, a platform where we highlight the headlines that are being suppressed, where we're going to be a safe haven for all the creators whose content is getting deleted off major platforms today. We launched a couple days ago, jumped to 4th most downloaded news app on the App Store, Android coming next week. If you're interested in the mission, hop over to interval.news. We can only stand up and make change if we have access to information, not misinformation. I'll catch you in the next one.
It's always the outliers that seek change that are quieted the quickest. The app might be doing well now, but if history repeats itself, we know exactly what's going to happen next.
Prophecy is unfolding at a rapid pace. Have you seen this? Watch this, and then let's talk. Neuralink to begin high-volume brain implant production this year. The company will also move to a streamlined, almost entirely automated surgical procedure in 2026, Elon Musk posted on X. Musk added that device threads will go through the dura without the need to remove it, referring to the brain's outer protective layer.
I'm telling you, the days are coming when you won't be able to buy or sell anything with at least that chip in your head or the mark on the hand. The beast system will be here soon. I was actually watching Charlemagne, Charlemagne, that guy with the radio show. He was asking the people on his panel, are you going to get it? And then they asked him, I don't know, are you? And he said, I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. This is a young man who said that he believed in God. Folks, if you believe in God, don't take any of that stuff. They're going to make it look attractive. They're going to make it look like it's convenient for you. They're going to make it look like it's something you have to be with the in crowd. The in crowd you'll be with are the ones that are in hell. Don't take that mark. Do not do it. Remember, this is in prophecy. We have been forewarned, and don't take this thing that they have set up. Jesus is coming soon. And this is just another.
Hey, now let's all be honest. The Neuralink definitely looks like it could be a bait and switch. It definitely does look cool. But the moment that they do implant it in your mind, they could play with your mind. I don't like that.
Aliens live their lives knowing the end of their life. They know that I'm going to die in this time.
Yeah.
And to the humans, that's terrifying to know that.
It would change everything.
To the aliens' point of view, how do you live not knowing 1 minute to the next if you're going to live? They were terrified of us. How do you deal with that? And this is what I kept thinking too.
So we were terrified by the certainty of knowing when our death is.
They're
terrified. And they're terrified by the uncertainty of not knowing.
Yeah, and all of a sudden I said, you know what? I kind of see where you're going with that. And I said, I don't think either one's good. It is that I asked Amy Adams at a premiere of it, because in the story she let her daughter. In the book, it's tremendous because they weave all these stories in where she had a 21-year-old daughter, and you're watching it. She can't have a 21-year-old daughter. She's a young scientist, and you really realize that she's starting to see her future. Mm-hmm. The more she spends time with these aliens, and her daughter dies. In the book, about 22 fall in a hiking accident in Tibet.
Now that's another great debate all in itself. Do you want to know the last day that you're going to be on this earth? Or would you rather live day to day and let it be a surprise? Me, I think I want to know. I think I would want to know. I'm still going to live it to the fullest regardless, but I think I want to know. Let me know down in the comments one way or the other. You want to know, or you rather just live day to day?
Your body actually has 2 brains. You have the one up here in your head, and you actually also have one in your gut. And this second brain inside your gut is called the enteric nervous system, and it's a fully independent nervous system that can function without the interference of your brain. It contains over 100 million neurons, up to over 500 million neurons, which is more than a cat and your spinal cord. So essentially, your gut is smarter than a cat. The brain inside your gut is so independent and so smart, if you were to cut off the power line, which is the vagus nerve, which is the nerve that supplies most of your body with its information, your gut will still be processing, will still be digesting, will still be thinking on its own. And this is actually why you have gut feelings. It's not actually just a metaphor, kind of like you have butterflies in your stomach. It's a real feeling because your gut produces over 95% of the serotonin, which is the feel-good hormone in your body. So I was today years old when I found out that butterflies in your stomach is a real feeling. That's just so crazy to think about.
Did y'all see the video of those super shamans coming together? And I don't know if they're super shamans or not, but the reason why is because they're the best shamans in their region. But they all came together and they all did a ceremony someplace, some remote location. But besides that, right, the reason why they all came together is because they all had a vision of America falling. They're going crazy out there. You have pictures of Trump, Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin, and they're burning it and they're throwing X's on it. They got skulls, they got flour, all types of things in this ritual that they're doing out there. And they're basically saying that this is the end of America. America is coming to an end. And those other countries that they're portraying as well too, they got their leaders out there and they're saying these certain countries are coming to an end. But America is going to fall the hardest. It's going to fall the fastest. And they got Trump out there and they're portraying Trump and showing you all these things. And again, like I said, it's these shamans, these people who quote unquote travel into the astral realm and pull visions and stories and everything like that. And Yeah, man, it's crazy. So something is definitely going on because, again, it's not just New York City. I'm finding out that a lot of these places, they didn't drop the, their so-called thing that they drop on New Year's Eve. Atlanta didn't drop the peach, New York didn't drop the ball, and any other places are experiencing this. But like I said, y'all, this new year that's leading into March of 2026, right? That's the beginning of the new year. We're gonna see some crazy things happening in the next few years, in the next few months. Let me know what you guys think about this video, y'all. The shift is here. Let's get it. Peace in.
China has made a breakthrough in a technology to distort space and time, allowing them to accomplish these previously impossible tasks. In an underground lab 50 feet below China's Zhejiang University, scientists and college students researching at the Centrifugal Hypergravity and Interdisciplinary Experiment Facility, or CHIEF for short, have built the world's most advanced hypergravity centrifuge dubbed the CHIEF 1900. In very simple terms, all this machine does is it spins things extremely quickly, but scientists are using this machine to compress space and time by subjecting the objects being spun to forces that are thousands of times stronger than Earth's gravity. This in turn allows scientists to conduct previously thought impossible experiments, including ones that would have taken thousands of years to complete, or for example, to simulate the effects of an earthquake on a massive 1,000-foot dam. Researchers can build a much smaller 10-foot model, spin it at 100 Gs, which replicates the same stress levels of the full dam in the real world.
President Trump's administration will consider denaturalization of Somali Americans who get convicted of fraud involving Minnesota-administered programs, according to the White House press secretary today.
Fun fact of the day. The first text message ever sent was Merry Christmas.
Random.
Scientists say we're officially adolescents until the age of 32, and your brain only peaks in your early 30s. A huge new study from Cambridge has mapped 4,000 brain scans, and it reveals the brain doesn't grow in one smooth line. Instead, it moves through 5 major phases, with dramatic turning points at 9, 32, 66, and 83. And the biggest shock? Adolescence lasts from age 9 all the way to 32. Researchers say this is the brain's most intense rewiring period, where connections become faster, sharper, and more efficient. It's also the phase when mental health conditions are most likely to begin. Then, at 32, we hit adulthood, the brain's longest, most stable era, lasting until 66 when early aging starts. That's when the brain slowly splits into tighter working regions, rather than one big coordinated network. At 83, final stage begins, with those changes becoming even more pronounced. These ages line up with major life milestones, puberty, parenthood, and even the start of age-related diseases, and they're only visible because of the scale of the data. So, your brain is constantly reshaping itself, and it has far more growing up to do than anyone realized.
Hurt myself by sneezing with my mouth closed?
Yes, you can. The best way to sneeze is to just let it go. If you stifle a sneeze, what can happen is that buildup pressure into the back of your throat can tear the mucosa, creating what we call a retropharyngeal tear. Air can then get into that space and track all the way down into your chest, and even theoretically could result in a collapsed lung.
You know what? That makes sense because I've done that in an elevator full of people and I walk out with my throat feeling all scratchy. He put the whole definition behind it.
Itself. So the woman that created the Ouija board was using it one day and just straight up asked the board what it wanted to be called, and it spelled out the word Ouija. Oui meaning yes in French and ja meaning yes in German. So a lot of people interpret this to mean that the board was identifying itself as a sort of spiritual being that kind of transcends all languages and knows all things, like omnipotent, if you will. So this woman, her name is Helen, she takes the board in to get a patent for it, but the guys at the patent office just laugh her off. The clerk there pretty much said, "Look, lady, I don't know you, you don't know me, but if your silly little board can spell my name out, I'll give you the patent for it." So according to legend, Helen sat the board down, put the planchette on top, and the Ouija board spelled this man's name out in front of everyone. And that is how we got the patent for the Ouija board. Now, the spookiness doesn't end there, because the board would be manufactured by 2 men before it fell into the hands of William Fuld. And William truly believed in the powers of the Ouija board because he himself used it all the time. He recognized that the spirit...
Now, I know he was creeped out to the max, because never in a million lifetimes did he think that a wooden board would get possessed and be able to spell his name out. That's crazy.
Never let a calf lick you, because before feeding, calves bonk their mother's udder with their heads so the milk starts flowing. So this little calf, as no milk was coming out, got the bonking reflex and hit this guy so hard it broke one of his teeth.
Note to self, never get eye level with the baby calf. They'll take your head off.
These things can read your mind. They're connected to our thoughts. This is why one thing I can promise you, if you're a God-fearing man and you know the Bible, one thing that the church knows is they always preach. You hear it all the time. Only God can read your thoughts. Only heaven, not that the devil can't read your thoughts, right? So this is something taught to all Christians from early on. You know, the devil can whisper in your ear, but he can't read your mind. Well, they read your mind, and they know they're connected to us. They're connected to our thoughts. They know your heart. They know your intentions. And somehow or another, Sean, they have the ability to stop the timeline, to manifest things, to make things happen, and to I've seen it 1,000 times. People come to see the phenomenon with me. I've had many as 75 with me at the time, and it appears. But there are certain people, if they're afraid, or if they're if they're skeptical, I can tell you, skeptical people about this phenomenon will never see anything. They're left out because they know your free will. They don't want to change your, go against your free will. But they can appear in a group of 50 people standing beside me, and that one skeptical person will look that way for 1 second, and it'll appear in front of everybody else. I've seen it 1,000 times. It knows where you're going to look before you look.
Interesting.
Yeah, seriously.
You had mentioned, I believe you had 2 near-death experiences before this incident. One at age 10?
10, I was shot point blank with a shotgun.
What was that near-death experience?
Well, it was New Year's Day, 1972. After hunting season, season had gone out on the 31st, and so it was fix the roads on Saturday and cook a hog. So we got all these men, this part of the club, were out repairing the roads and all the farm, right? And my grandfather and the farmer that owned the land was at the club tending to the hog on the cooker.
New Year's Eve is Kronos worship. New Year's Eve has nothing to do with the sun, the moon, the stars, or the seasons. It's actually how we tell time. That alone should make you pause. The ancient holy day was aligned to a natural cycle, and New Year's Eve is not. Instead, it is aligned to time itself. Not life, not light, not rebirth, just the ticking of an artificial clock. This is the domain of Kronos, the god of time, limitation, and consumption, also known as Saturn. The Bible calls it Satan. Kronos is the force that devours its own children. Symbolically, time consumes life, and all of us, its children. Celebrate New Year's Eve. Not celebrating the natural order, you're celebrating an artificial time marker honoring the god Kronos. The ritual happens at night in darkness and during the season of least light. It marks nothing in nature. It marks obedience to a system, time, square. Millions of people staring upward at a sphere, waiting for permission to move forward. If you want to know about actual ancient traditions that celebrated the true seasons of life and when light returned, you had to get yourself a true calendar. I have included a true calendar in my new book, Mysteries of Ancient Wisdom. And if you're like me, you might live by both calendars because there is certainly a wave of human energy that can be ridden around this time of year. But I find it much more enjoyable to follow the natural seasons of Mother Earth.
Do y'all think that we don't see mythical creatures anymore because the rich elite eat them all? Every old culture has stories about unicorns and mermaids and griffins, dragons, little forest fucking guys. And I can hear the argument that we grew out of superstition, that's why we don't talk about mythical creatures anymore. I don't know, but maybe the question isn't were mythical creatures real, but why aren't they around anymore? But here's a theory that I'm just going to put gently onto the table. What if the reason we don't see unicorns or mermaids anymore is because the rich already ate all of them? Or maybe they caught them all and they're just sitting on compounds, waiting to be harvested. Billionaires are already out there trying to live forever, so you don't think at some point someone looked at a mermaid and went, that thing probably has incredible antioxidants. I mean, all through history, the elite have always believed that rare animals had magical properties. Kings were grinding up rhino horn, they were drinking fucking mercury, they were eating powdered mummies. All about that one. It could just be the fact that none of these mystical creatures are actually real, but I can kind of think whatever I want to think. But I do sit and think about the fact that rich already eat endangered animals now. Look at the Tasmanian tiger. We've already hunted animals to extinction already. It could be a coincidence there aren't any more left, or it could be a menu change, because we all know what they're probably eating now.
Now, rhino horns, there's definitely no argument about that. They've been doing that for a long time. But I would strongly suggest against eating any kind of mercury, because that will be the end of you.
Humans have wisdom teeth because our ancestors evolved with larger jaws and diets that required heavy chewing. Early humans ate tough, fibrous foods, and the third molars helped grind them down. Over time, cooking and softer diets reduced the need for powerful jaws, causing human jaws to shrink through evolution. Wisdom teeth remained, but modern jaws often lack the space for them, leading to crowding, impaction, and the dental problems common today.
Time is actually a lot scarier than you think. By the time that you're 26 years old, half of your perceived life is over. Because we perceive time as going by faster as we get older, by the time you're 26, the total amount of time that you'll experience in your life is already halfway through. In this study, old and young people were each given 120 seconds to just sit with themselves, and then they were asked how long they thought they were sitting with themselves. Older people experienced this time of 120 seconds as more around like 80 seconds, versus younger people experienced it closer to 120 at about 114 seconds. Now, there are basically two reasons why this happens, and one of them will give you insight as to how you can make your life feel longer. The first is purely the percentage of time relative to your life that you're experiencing. So if you're 5 years old, a year of your life is 20% of the total time that you've experienced. So it seems like a lot of time. Whereas if you're 50, a year of your life is only 2%. So it's significantly a smaller chunk, and therefore it feels shorter. The other has to do with the way our brains perceive new experiences. As you get older, you start to do more mundane things like work a job every single day. Your brain doesn't apply as much processing to these tasks, and so it feels like there's less time going by. Versus when you're a kid and you're experiencing new things every day, your brain has to process a lot, and that comes across as experiencing more time. So if you want to live a longer life, you should seek new experiences.
Now, I definitely think he's onto something. Doing something on a daily basis, you can kind of forget where you're going and where you're at. But when you implement new experiences, it kind of wakes up your spirit just a bit. So I definitely agree with that.
Alexa, how many days until Thanksgiving 2026?
Thanksgiving Day in 2026 is 330 days away, on Thursday, November 26th.
Alexa, how many days until Christmas 2026?
There aren't any Christmas holidays in 2026. By the way,
here's one that'll freak you guys out. Every single speaker that you have in your house, including that in your television, in your washer and dryer, you know how when your dryer finishes and it plays that little song, that's because there's a speaker in there? Every single appliance that you have that's made by a foreign country or anything like that, the speakers themselves can be used as vibrational sensors and frequency sensors. Even the laser underneath your computer mouse, when you have a conversation in your home like I am right now, the laser underneath your computer mouse can read the vibrations of the table underneath the laser, or the speaker vibrations in your washer and dryer, or even on your microwave, and that can be interpreted with AI, and the frequencies and the vibration can be decoded, and they can actually read your entire conversation. So every single conversation that you have in your house can be listened to. It can be interpreted and decoded by AI, and they know everything that you're talking about.
These holes on this brain MRI aren't holes, they're parasites. Can you guess what it's from? This is neurocysticercosis, and it's caused from eating undercooked meats. This person ate parasitic eggs hidden in pork that then hatched all over the body, including the brain.
Cook your food. If that isn't a reason enough to cook your food, man, I don't know what is.
It's official. The IRS banking laws that would allow the IRS to look into your bank account for certain transactions over $600 and then $10,000 have officially been dropped. They will not be in the fourth stimulus package, and for the time being, they will not be talked about.
This is Tong Bei Quan, a powerful Chinese martial art. Masters train their arms to be as flexible as whips, striking so fast that they cut through the air and produce a sharp, dry sound. But the most astonishing thing is that their main attack isn't a punch. It's a slap so strong it can bend a steel bar.
The true definition of a heavy hand. That looked painful, extremely painful.
Humans actually meant to be faithful in relationships? Science might now have an answer. A new study has examined the mating behavior of 35 species of mammals to try and work out how monogamous humans really are in comparison to other animals. We were represented by data from 103 separate populations, ranging from modern societies to groups that lived as long ago as the Neolithic period. The study compared siblings who shared both parents with those who had half siblings. In short, exclusive couples produce full siblings, those that mate promiscuously do not. The results gave humans an average monogamy rating of 66%, meaning 2/3 of the sibling pairs, on average, were full siblings. That puts us in 7th place. Okay, we are comfortably more monogamous than meerkats at 60%, and chimpanzees who only managed a score of 4%, but we are in fact trailing beavers at 73%. The one primate that ranked higher than humans was the mustached tamarin, a small Amazonian monkey which rated at 78%. So by mammal standards, we are remarkably monogamous. You can feed that back to your other half.
Victorian era was absolutely disgusting and we would have not survived. Here's why. First of all, there was basically a 50-50 chance you'd make it past 5. Your baby bottle alone was crawling with bacteria because of its shape and people thought it didn't have to be washed for 3 weeks. Ew. Your milk was mixed with borax, which is roach poison, because people thought it would purify the milk. As a matter of fact, all your food was poisoned. 1/3 of your bread was chalk. There was also clay and sawdust. Lead in cheese, wine, sugar. Lead in your tea. Lead in your candy. And mercury. Your green paint had arsenic in it, so even breathing wasn't a good idea. And this green back then was used to paint literally everything. Your brown paint was made from ground up mummies. The shade was called mummy brown. They also ate the mummies, like all the mummies. You were nobody if you didn't come back from Egypt with a mummy to eat at your mummy unwrapping party. They also consumed regular corpses as medicine, like a yummy piece of skull with molasses to cure epilepsy. White skin was in, of course, so women washed their faces with ammonia and used arsenic lotion. Finally, they added a healthy layer of lead-based makeup. There was lead in your toys. There was lead in basically everything. Later on, there was radiation in male contraceptive. There was poop on the streets, poop in the rivers, poop in your drinking water. Toilets would randomly blow up. Theaters used fire as special effects, but there were no emergency exits, so that was dumb. Actually, fires were everywhere because of gas lamps and highly flammable everything. The gas itself was also poisonous. And if you managed to survive all that, there was also cholera, typhoid, tuberculosis, scarlet fever, yellow fever, smallpox, gout, rickets, scurvy, influenza.
Mankind has came a long way. I mean, talk about a million ways to die. That was just crazy time living. That just seemed like the craziest time to live in.
I'm a privacy attorney. I'm going to show you how to nuke your data in one click. Starting today, January 1st, 2026, the California Privacy Protection Agency allows you to now go to their website and delete all your data from all data brokers with one click. I'm going to show you how to do it. First, you're going to open up your browser and you're going to search CPPA drop. Then you're going to click the link from the CPPA agency and scroll to the top, and you're going to click learn more about the delete request and opt-out platform. You're going to scroll down and click how drop works. From here, there's going to be a few steps to follow. Before you start, you have to verify your eligibility. Next, you got to create your profile. You will create a data deletion request by entering your data. Third, you submit your request. After you submit your request, you can check your status and see how your request has been deleted or opted out. If you found this video helpful or would like to learn more, drop a follow. Bye.
Thousands, 50,000 years, really. And so there was an influx in the 1950s and the 1970s of higher vibrational beings. The controlling consciousness that is in charge at this moment of this planet is what is and are aware of every incarnate being that comes into this planet. Through sexual union between a male and a female, energy is then sent up and vibrates up through frequencies. They have technology to be able to see where, and then a soul is then attracted to a lifetime. And then the soul will then, this is just one way, a soul will then come to the womb of the mother, and they can track this. They can track this from happening. Okay, so in the 1950s, there was something called Project Oak Tree. Project Oak Tree, this is the truth about Project Oak Tree. Project Oak Tree, the oak tree itself is symbolic of Lucifer. They use the term oak tree. Oak tree is synonymous with Lucifer. So in the the controlling power that has at this time power over this planet is aware that there are very, very, very powerful beings. I don't know what you would want to call them, demigods, gods, whatever you want to call them. That there was an influx of them coming. So they didn't know where and when they were going to be here, but they needed to find a way of tracking them.
I've been telling you guys that China lives in the future, but watch this. This is how advanced China is right now. This is a new convenience store here in China and no human interaction whatsoever. Everything is AI and that robot serves you. So you just choose whatever you want, like a Coca-Cola, boom. Then I just scan it. Okay, order done. And I think that's that. Done. So yeah, that is what a humanless convenience store looks like in Shanghai, China.
Not a human in sight. This is what the future looks like, man. Coming to a city near you.
So you thought that underground cities were fake? Oh no, they definitely real. And what you see behind me is the Darren Kuyu underground city. Now this is one of many underground cities that are still out there in the world that haven't been discovered yet. And this one was discovered accidentally when a man knocked down the wall of his basement. And when the archaeologists arrived, they revealed that this city was 18 stories deep and it had everything necessary for underground life, including schools, chapels, and even stables. It said to be almost 3,000 years old and could hold up to 20,000 people. So when them solar flares come, I might have to take a trip to Turkey. What do y'all think? Leave in the comments below for part 2.
You know, to be a prison guard in the United States, you only need to have a GED or be working on your GED and no felony convictions. That's it. I say in the book that one of the things that struck me early on was that the guards have to do mail call every day at 4 o'clock, but usually they didn't. They had a prisoner do mail call. Why? Because the guards couldn't read.
This isn't federal prison. They couldn't read? Oh boy. Here you are playing chess and they don't even know what checkers is.
He must have been talking about like when prisons first opened up. Because I'm pretty sure things have changed since then, because that sounds pretty crazy.
Okay, seriously, I need someone to help me out because I have no idea what's happening right now. My wife bought me like a vintage CRT monitor from the 1980s, okay? Of course, what do? I turn into a live camera feed via Camlink, but there's my things. Where's my furniture? Now wait, just watch this. This is crazy. How is that possible? There's my furniture. Where? What the actual fuck?
I would definitely like to call Cap on that, but we're living in some strange times, man. If it was Cap, I would say he probably pre-recorded that video below. I would say that, but we are living in some weird times, so let me know what you think about that down in the comments, though.
There are 7 different types of brown eyes, and each one has different hidden advantages and disadvantages that we will cover in this video. Obsidian, the ancient shield. Often mistaken for black eyes, evolved in the hottest, most sun-drenched latitudes to act as high-grade biological sunglasses. The hidden advantage. This is the high-performance eye. Because the high melanin absorbs stray light so effectively, people with obsidian eyes naturally struggle less with glare. You likely have better visual acuity in extremely bright environments compared to your blue-eyed friends. There is also a fascinating theory regarding reaction speed. Several studies have suggested a correlation between dark eye pigment and faster, reactive motor tasks, like boxing, possibly due to faster neural transmission speeds associated with melanin production. The disadvantage: you might feel things more intensely. One preliminary study suggests a link between the genes for dark eyes and a lower tolerance for physical pain compared to lighter eyes. So while you can react faster, the hit might hurt a little more.
Well, you guys, that's another one in the books. This is 2026, and we're definitely going to go down every single rabbit hole that 2026 has to offer. Appreciate you guys for tapping in, and if you haven't already, smash that like button for me, smash that subscribe button, and join the iTrack fam, man, and I will definitely catch you on the next one.